For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome back to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. During the break, Tate was making me laugh, so that's why I'm giggling as we come back. We've been talking about sports, of course. First segment, we talked about last night's win, Boston Celtics over the Dallas Mavericks. And then the segments 2 and 3 were about the Big 12 and private equity. We are switching gears now and going into some of our funnier segments for this episode. Talking about not the vapors. We are not talking about the vapors.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off, but when you said you made it like it was like they got like a disease. I was like, what the heck is the vapes?
The vapes. Well, officials say 26-year-old Kiara Lee was charged in connection with providing vapes to students. Police are asking families with information to come forward, especially if their children have ever interacted with the crossing guard. Just to know they can't get it from someone who's supposed to be helping them get home is insane to me, Penwood Middle School parent Maya Bryant said. Bryant's 14-year-old daughter walks home from school, often using the same intersection Lee was stationed at. It's alarming, Bryant said. It's disturbing. According to the Delaware County District Attorney's Office, Lee provided vapes to students at or near the intersection of North McDade Boulevard and Summit Street, which is about 5 blocks from the school. The DA's office said that after a police investigation last month, a student witness told school officials they saw Lee providing students with vapes at least 3 separate times. One student who received the vapes also told the student witness that they would smoke marijuana with Lee frequently, officials said. The guardian of the student who received the vapes said Lee also provided their child with marijuana edibles. You shouldn't do such a thing, Darby resident Shay Johnson said. It's kind of disgraceful a little bit. I feel bad for these poor babies. According to officials, text messages between a student and Lee confirmed they had taken the edibles. You're a crossing guard. I trust that when my kid comes home from school, the crossing guard isn't giving them anything crazy, Johnson said. In a statement, Police Chief Joseph Gabe said, our dedicated team knows that protecting the kids in our community is absolutely central to our mission. While marijuana may not seem like a big deal to some folks in the community, I think we can all agree that crossing guards should not be providing narcotics, even if it's just marijuana to our kids. Parents said they believe more should be done to ensure those working around children are vetted properly. I feel like people should pay more attention to who they're hiring, especially when it comes to children, Johnson said. I don't care if you feel like it's too extreme to be going through stuff like this, but it's nothing no parent would ever want their child to be introduced to. As of Tuesday afternoon, Lee was in custody and awaiting arraignment, according to the district attorney's office. She is charged with possession of marijuana with intent to deliver and corruption of minors. Oh dear, Tate. I don't know, is this worse than the vapors? I think it's worse than the vapors.
Okay. Here's the thing about this one. First off, I'm looking at the pictures that you put up there.
I'll leave them up.
And I thought the crossing guard was one of the kids.
I think she's shorter than a lot of them.
She is a tiny, like... She's very tiny, so she looks like one of the kids, but then in the face she looks like she's about 45. And so it just kind of threw me off, and then it looked like her weave was kind of falling out, like she didn't get her ends taken care of properly.
Well, who looks good in the mugshot?
And then the mugshot. Oh man. Woo! Sorry about that. Okay. Now. You can't be puff giving with the kids if you're a crossing guard. That is something you can't do. I know the world has changed, and looking at marijuana as not as bad of a substance as it once was looked at. But
these are middle school students.
You are a crossing guard, responsible for protecting and helping kids get to school, making sure they cross the street fine. You can't be over there smoking the chronic with them and giving them edibles. Now they can't even walk a straight line across the street. They're all, you know what I mean? You're putting these kids at risk. Second of all, you're corrupting kids. I don't know what kind of time she's facing, but that was sometimes making poor decisions in life. There should be major consequences for it. And this is one of those situations. When you are trusting, I remember as a kid, a lot of families, they would walk their kid to school and then they would get them to the crossing guard. That's when, once you get them to the crossing guard, they're safe. That's the way it was always looked at. You know, there'd be a couple crossing guards you have to get to, but once you got to the crossing guard, you've made it to the safe zone for your kids.
I grew up feral. I just walked to school. No crossing guard.
Yeah, so I lived in a little bigger town than you did, let's just say. So if you walk across town, they get you to the crossing guard, and then you let little Jimmy go, and he goes about his business. Crossing guard gets him the rest of the way to school. You can't have a crossing guard. Okay, I didn't got you to Becky, and she pulls out a joint like, want to hit this? You know,
what is the thought process? How do you even one day wake up and be like, you know what? I got some extra edibles. I wonder if the kids want them.
But she was talking about there was numerous kids, and they talked about smoking with her. Yes. Before, okay, you're going to morning class. You're trying to get to school. I don't understand pulling out a joint like, hey, how do you start that conversation with little Jimmy, how old are you in middle school? 12?
6th to 8th grade, depending on the system, maybe sometimes 9th. So let's say, yeah, 11 to 14, right? Yeah. Right in that window.
And how old is she again?
She's 26.
26. She looked like she's 46.
Well, she didn't. She's the side of a middle schooler and the face of...
Yeah, my girl had a hard life. Let's just say life wasn't always good to her. I don't think. Probably because of some of these dumb decisions that she'd made.
Maybe somebody started her on.
Yes,
in middle school.
It's one of those things where, you know, making these smart decisions. But let me give another side story. There are some people out there that look at marijuana in a different way. And I remember, this gave me a little flashback here. I remember being in 7th grade, and I went to a friend of mine's house. We were walking to school, and I think I told you this story. And I'm going to protect the name on this. The mom has recently passed, and I don't want to discourage or say anything bad about her. But I remember, I think maybe it was like 7th grade, and we went over there that morning, and we were going to walk to school afterwards. And the kids, I'm making up the name, so this is not the name, but it was like the mom, we're going out the door, and the mom yells down, "Tom, did you smoke up all my damn weed?" And my jaw dropped on the floor, and he's like, "No, I didn't do it." And she's yelling at him for smoking up all the damn weed. This is 7th grade.
Yeah.
There are some people out there that don't look at it that way. Now, fast forward, that same kid that I changed his name went on to sell drugs and go to jail and not have really a good life. Meaning, these decisions that you do to these little kids shape their lives forever. You want to be a positive role model, a positive influence on kids. Don't be the crazy lady that gave me jacked up gummy bears. Don't give me we're sharing. Yeah, the crossing guard, and I remember we had the crossing guard. We go in the back and smoke a couple of joints together. That just sounds wrong. It doesn't sound wrong. It is absolutely flat out wrong.
You and I were talking about I don't even know, maybe a similar story recently, and I said, I grew up very sheltered. I didn't even have a clue where to find drugs, and that's because there wasn't a crossing guard in my town who was
out there. Yeah. Imagine this. I don't know where to find drugs. Why not just go to the crossing guard? She's giving it out.
She's got edibles. She's got vapes. She's got, whatever you want.
She give you a joint and some Sour Patch Kids. You can't have that. So no, I'm glad they caught her. I'm glad they busted her. She should not be allowed to do that job again. The question is, what kind of crime is that? That's corrupting a minor.
Well, they charged her with, corrupting. She was charged with possession of marijuana with intent to deliver and corruption of minors. Now,
was she selling it to him as well?
It says intent to deliver. It doesn't say anything about selling, providing. And this is Virginia, this is Delaware. So I have no idea what the laws in Delaware are with regards to marijuana.
I can tell you this.
No, I'd have to look it up.
In the books, and I bet you there's not a law said, hey, crossing guards can give out gummy bears and some endo.
Yeah.
There's no law, there's no place that's going to allow that.
And hopefully, as a crossing guard who was working with children every day, there was a background check and all those things that you have to have in order to be allowed to work around children. But if she'd never done anything before or been caught before, that wouldn't have shown up in a background check. But hopefully, if she had been caught before, they would have, I don't know.
Talking about dropping the dime on her. Those kids was like, yeah, we smoke weed with her. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, she always brings out the Mary Jane. On Fridays and Saturdays, it's the gummy sweets.
Which are really dangerous now. Now that edibles are like gummies, that's really not good because kids are like, and gummies. It's much easier to be like, hey kid, you want a gummy bear?
It's gotten out of hand too, because it is too tricky. You can't be. It used to be as a kid growing up, it was a joint, and I never did that, but it's a joint. To stay away from the joint, okay? But no one ever taught you to stay away from the gummy bears,
the brownies.
Tacos.
Yeah, they're making all kinds of stuff now.
I can't get a Taco Bell Grande and get the munchies at the same time.
Isn't that a catch-22 though? So you get high and then you get the munchies and then you keep eating the gummy bears and then you keep getting higher and then you keep eating that's dangerous.
Then at some point you done ate so many tacos, brownies, and gummies that you just spontaneously combust.
Yeah, I don't know. The world is a weird place. Let me just say that.
But she's a weird looking, like, she's a tiny woman. Like, she's short. She's very tiny in stature. Like, it plays with your mind when you see her. And then she has the mug shot where it looks like she's Sideshow Bob the clown or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's a weird look on her.
She's so tiny that I almost wouldn't believe if I were the driver. She's wearing the vest, but I'm thinking, why'd they give that kid? Is it bring your kid to work day?
Yeah, I'm thinking like she's a student crossing guard. I would have never thought, except for that Sideshow Bob makeup and hairdo that I would have ever thought. Yes.
No. I mean, it's not like she had time to go fix her makeup before her mugshot. They don't really give you that opportunity.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
All right, well, note to self. Don't get arrested. We're going to take our last break of this episode. When we come back, a video that went viral about a suspended license and also an update on that story. You are tuned in to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.